Okay, so today I'm speaking to an award-winning artist and songwriter. Her new EP, Fence Sitter, is going to be released on October 3rd. She's on tour with Shania Twain right now and released a single off her highly anticipated EP, Magic. I cannot get it out of my head. It is the one and only Lindsay Ell.
Hi.
How's it going?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to be sitting with you because I'm a huge fan of yours, number one.
Thank you.
And number two, I sincerely can't get Magic out of my head.
I love to hear it.
Is that the response that you're getting?
You know, it's only been out a few days, and I just played a pop-up show last night, and fans like already knew the entire thing and knew all of the lyrics. So that's probably my favorite thing, to be like, I can't get it out of my head. I'm like, this is why we write songs.
So tell me about the writing process and kind of what this song means for you and how it came to you.
I wrote Magic because I think one of the best things we can do in life is to like stay connected to that inner voice of like, this is what I want to do and I believe that I can do it. And I think that anytime when you're chasing a dream that you really want to accomplish, it's hard. It's like not glamorous. And as much as like an Instagram highlight reel looks really fascinating, it's like it's so much harder than that Instagram reel.
Right.
And through like those high and low moments, it can sometimes be really difficult to like keep your internal motivation and stay focused and be like, oh, can I do this? Mm-hmm. And so Magic is all about like remembering those little moments that will encourage you to keep going and actually be like, I can do this. Like amongst all of the like craziness and when you're like walking on a high wire or whatever, that you still believe in yourself.
What is like a little moment for you? Like, is it like standing on stage in front of thousands? Is it the second you hear a song back? Like, what is that moment for you?
Gosh, I mean, playing live shows is my favorite thing to do in the world. Like nothing else really brings me the same joy as like getting to play songs I've written in front of an audience and getting to hear them sing it back to me. It's like that is the highest drug that isn't a drug that I could ever take. And yeah, all of the other little moments, like even getting a DM from a fan being like, thank you for writing this song. You've inspired me to go to therapy or to talk to my family, or you've like really changed my life in saying these things. And I'm like, okay, that is such light in my life of, wow, art really matters. And making vulnerable art is like this incredible thing that can connect to strangers on the other side of the world, you know? But I also think that one of the coolest things is finding magic in like the tiny, tiny moments.
Yeah.
And that gives me even more ammo to keep going through the hard times, because sometimes I think if we try to always look for magic in like the
big extravagant things.
Flashy on stage moments of like me playing my songs in front of an audience, which don't get me wrong, like that is like my favorite thing to do. But if I always look for magic in those moments, then life is like a very roller coaster. Catastrophic time. And so I'm like, if I can find magic in, you know, drinking my coffee on my patio, working quietly on my laptop in the morning.
It's my magic.
Okay, if I can find magic in that, or I can find magic in like, oh my gosh, I love these sneakers and I'm going to wear them today and they're going to make me feel so good. And it's like, if I can find magic in those moments, that is like actually what fuels me to keep me going.
I love that. And I think it's like more important than ever to kind of take note of those little things and really like appreciate and have gratitude for those magic moments.
Totally.
Now, Fence Sitter is such a cool title because in my mind, I'm interpreting it as like you're in the middle of who you were and who you're going to be. Mm-hmm. And that's sometimes like a very complex place to be in. Yeah. So what was the moment that you kind of felt, you know, this encapsulates where I'm at in life right now and what I want to like put out into the world?
I love that you took that from the title.
Okay, good. I was like, I'm scared to say this, but I hope you receive this well.
Honestly, like art is supposed to be interpreted however it hits you. And so I love that you you interpreted it like that because that does represent kind of where I'm at in life. And I do feel like the past few years have been such a transition of, who I used to be and who I'm trying to become. And if anything, I think that that's something that all of us should try to constantly reinvent ourselves. But I actually wrote Fence Sitter about the question of if I want to have kids or not.
Really?
And it's also bracing the topic of like, okay, who have I been versus who am I growing into, and what does that person want, and what will that person potentially regret? And those are heavy questions to answer,
Totally.
And when I was in my 20s, I asked that question a lot. Like, do I want to have kids? I don't know. And then when I turned 30, that question like started like blaringly be in my ears.
For sure. If it's not my doctor, it's my friends reminding me.
Completely. And let alone like all my friends getting married and having babies or having multiple babies and just seeing how happy they are in their lives and being so happy for them and being like, wow, I still am not married and I still do not know if I want to have kids and I just don't have any of those things figured out. And so I remember walking to the writing session to write Fence Sitter being like, I really want to write this song of do I want to be a mother or not. And there's actually a Reddit board called Fence Sitter, and it is this community of 80,000 people talking if they want to have kids or not.
Really?
And I think it's the coolest thing. And if you're looking for a real good time, go on that Reddit board because it's just amazing of like every perspective of it. And like I don't know. And so it just inspired me so much. We needed to write it into the lyric. And then that whole thing inspired me so much that we called the song that, and the EP became that, because it's just been a question that at this point in my life, like as I've been through the past few years and as I've been stepping more and more into my own confidence and into more and more of like, okay, how do I actually feel? Like, what do I actually want to be doing? And that's a big question. And it will change your life like in incredible ways, either side of that fence, So I still am completely undecided. I don't know.
But I think that's okay. I mean, I'm probably not the person because I'm swimming in the same boat as you, honestly.
Totally.
And but similar to yourself, like I try not to let the outside world impact how I'm actually feeling.
For sure.
Like just because everybody else is doing it or saying that you should do it doesn't mean that you're necessarily ready for that or even want that.
Completely.
So yeah, it's just hard to drown out the noise sometimes.
Completely. Yeah. My sweet boyfriend says anytime he has like a thought in his mind like that from one of his friends, he's like, I need to give it 6 months. Just giving it 6 months before he can really like determine if that's like his own brain or
I
if
love
that's
that.
Just like all of his friend, like peer pressure.
Of
all of his friends. And I'm like, I do love that rule actually.
Because it takes time to settle into that.
Yeah,
so, and I'm delayed reaction
weeds.
Too. So that helps. Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
Makes complete sense. So Lindsay, you mentioned, you've shared a lot of personal stories and there's been a lot that you've opened up about over the last few years. I want to talk about the Make You movement because it was such a powerful initiative that I know we've seen has changed so many lives, not only, in a financial way of having funds to support initiatives, but also resources and community. What is it like for you now that it's been happening for a few years to have responses from people to say in DMs and things like, you changed my life or you gave me hope?
It's one of the coolest things to read a message from somebody that like from a song I've written that it's had a positive impact in their life, whether that's encouraged them to go to therapy or whether it's been being able to raise thousands and thousands of dollars to donate to some really, really cool causes that I work with, let alone, hearing a fan come up to me in a meet and greet being like, you've saved my life. And I'm like, that is so cool to really see the effects of like what music can have on somebody. And I do know like life is hard and times are so confusing and challenging and it's hard to see the light sometimes. And yet sometimes the right song or the right thing that somebody says to you can be that like glimmer of hope. And if I can continue to make art that can be a glimmer of hope to somebody, then I really feel like I'm actually fulfilling my purpose here on the planet. And so the Make You movement stemmed from a song I wrote about sexual assault and my story as a survivor. And through that song, I've just gotten to meet so many incredible humans and so many incredible kids and have heard their insane stories and yet seen so much like light in their eyes and their hearts, and they've like inspired me so much to continue to share my story, because I know that it's like our stories that have the power to like save each other.
100%. And that relationship with your fans is really, really special, to have that sort of communication through your music. On like an industry level, like, what is that like, opening up like that? Because that's also like really scary to have your peers and everybody else. Like, it's one thing to connect with fans, but it's another thing to connect with an industry in that way.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I think any time when I have made a decision for what would be better for me and my perception in the industry versus what would be better for me and what I want to share with my fans, I always need to choose the fans.
Yeah.
Because anytime I'm trying to make a decision on like how I want to be viewed on the industry, it's just facade and it's just ego, in my opinion. And I'm like, the thing that matters is like the art I want to create, and whoever's gonna want to absorb that art and listen to it and sing those songs at a show of mine, and all of the rest of it doesn't matter. And there have been large chapters of my life where I have let all of the rest of it matter a lot, like matter more than the art itself. And I guess I just had to live through that to know how much it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I love that.
And so I really try to make decisions now about the art and fans first, and knowing that the industry will care if the art is good anyways. And if they're caring because of like the perception, it's an empty facade anyways.
Right. That's not what it's about.
Yeah.
Something else that resonated with me personally was when you came forward about an eating disorder. So I battled with that growing up.
Sorry.
And I mean, it's something that you like live with through life, right? I was a dancer, and that was something that I struggled with for many years and was hospitalized, the whole nine. Hearing someone like you talk about it so openly, and it's like, I think we try and create a world where, we should be open and talk about it. But when it actually comes to it, no one really does. So the fact that you had the bravery and courage to be able to come forward and even discover that, like you were saying, that this is something that you struggled with for years, but couldn't identify it. Like, what was the moment of how you identified it and then chose to be like, okay, I'm going to now say this out loud?
Yeah, I mean, I think my eating disorder started when I was like 13 years old. And so I was so young, and at that time I was just trying to establish control in my life.
Same.
And then, you know, I'm sure as you experience this as a dancer, but as, you know, trying to be an artist and in the limelight, and a lot of people focusing on how my body looks like in my teens and my 20s, I just continued my unhealthy relationship with food and unhealthy behaviors with food, and it just snowballed into something that wasn't good at all.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I mean, I'm the same. I'm sorry for you. It finally kind of came to rock bottom, I guess, a couple years ago, and I remember I would starve myself for so long and then binge uncontrollably because my body was just so hungry, and like not being able to like stop myself putting food in my mouth. And I was like bawling on my kitchen floor January of 23, and I was like, I can't do this alone. I don't understand what's wrong, and I physically cannot do this anymore. And so I got a very amazing ED therapist and doctors, and surrounded myself with really smart brains around the whole ED world and learned that anorexia is not a body type. Because I just told myself for so long that I can't be anorexic because I wasn't skin and bones.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I learned that anorexia is a behavior, not a body type. And there are several different kinds of eating disorders, and disordered eating is a glorified part of our culture. And it is, especially in the entertainment industry, it's like celebrated when you skip a meal and when you're like skinny and when you're fasting and when you're doing all these things. That there are aspects to something like fasting that can be really beneficial in like a very balanced program. But then there are aspects of something like that can get just so out of control and given to like the wrong, unhealthy brain at the wrong time is very catastrophic. And so I have jumped into a very steep learning curve around the whole thing, and I've just been wanted to like share what I've been going through, because it's fascinating to my brain like how much it still is. It's so common. Disordered eating is like so common in our society, and you're right, it isn't talked about a lot, and yet, you know, there still are so many videos on the internet being like, here's what I ate in a day. 1 almond. And then for lunch I had 3 almonds. And then it has like millions of views. And I'm like, this
is the problem.
Yeah. And then when children watch those videos, the algorithm learns that they want to watch that. And so it sends them more videos like that. And I was like, this is dangerous. It's just dangerous, because I know I was watching all of those videos and I would like track my calories to the penny and like rewarded myself when I like got a very low number. And it was a very dark and scary time. And I'm like, if I can play at least a very small part in just talking about my story and the effects that eating disorders can have on the rest of your life. It's not just like a fun game of like, can I be skinny for a picture on my Instagram? It like affects the longevity of your life. And now I just have so much more education around like what it does to the development of your bones and your organs and your heart and everything. And it's not just like a little game that I thought I was playing for a lot of my life.
That was the kicker for me, and that was my turning point, was when the doctor said like, you might not have kids if you continue down this path.
Totally.
And it was like, I want that choice. I don't want my body to decide that for me.
Right.
So that was like the turning point for me. But it's so interesting that you say that when other people, like I used to, for me, when other people would glorify, they'd be like, oh, you look so skinny, you look so great.
Totally.
It's like super triggering, because then you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Right. So it means it's working, number one. Right. And that it's wrong, but I'm still going to do it more because it's being noticed.
Totally.
Like, and we spoke about this, I know, before we even started this chat, but like, how do you stay healthy now, like mind, body, and soul, with where you're at with your career, with the amount of people that are looking at you constantly? Like, how do you maintain that?
I mean, I think the beautiful part about recovery, or I guess the unbeautiful part about recovery, is it's like, it's not a switch that is just flicked and you just have like a great mindset about things for the rest of your life. Like, it's a hard thing every day. Like, I think about my body every day still. I mean, this is just part of my journey and part of like the life I chose, I guess, when I came to this world. But I guess I'm just a lot more, I have a lot more tools that are accessible. And I remember watching Miss Americana, Taylor Swift's documentary, because I know she's had some like an ED journey herself. And I remember her saying, we just don't do that anymore. And I say that to myself all the time. Like when I find myself body checking or looking at calories or wanting to weigh myself. I haven't weighed myself in 2 years. When I go to the doctor, I turn around so I don't look at that number, because I know it's unhealthy for me. And if I know what I weigh, I know
it's
a slippery slope.
Yeah.
And I just don't want to put myself in that position. And so I'm just like, we don't do that anymore. Skipping meals, we don't do that anymore. Like, that's not who we are anymore.
Yeah.
We're just going to eat 3 meals a day, and I'm just not going to think about it. And yes, all the time. Like, I get like fans take pictures in the first row of like me making the weirdest guitar faces and double chins in like the worst body positions to like physically take a picture, and they post them on the internet because they're not thinking about my body, but I see it,
and then you're like,
I think about my body, and I'm like, this is disgusting, and yet I'm the only one thinking that. And so even when I'm caught in that, I'm just like, we don't do this anymore, Lindsay. And so I just try to, my therapist says it's like dropping the rope. Like you can spend so much just like trying to hang on to something that is not healthy or doesn't matter. And so I just really try to drop the rope and be like, okay, we don't think about that anymore. Let's go say something a lot more affirming, like, body, thank you so much for getting me through today. And thank you for like giving me healthy legs to walk and like doing all the things that you're doing that I don't even understand. Like, thank you so much. And so I try to, when I do find myself in, you know, not a loving place, maybe looking at pictures on the internet, let's say, I just try to flip myself into gratitude. And it usually sets me in like a much, much healthier path.
That's really good advice. Now, I know we have to close things off, but lastly, I just want to ask you, you know, you've had so much growth and evolution. To you now, what does strength and confidence look like versus, say, even like 10 years ago?
Oh my gosh, since 10 years ago, woo, that was like a very different person. And I guess that's a good thing because
it is.
Like
I
said,
think so.
If you're the same as you were 10 years ago, then you should be taking some more risks in life. But I'd say strength to me now means that I know I can be like happy in my own skin. And I know that, you know, happiness isn't a goal. It isn't behind like a trophy. It isn't behind another person in a relationship. It's like it comes from like your own heart first. And if you try, I think me 10 years ago like really tried to find happiness behind so many other things. And now I define strength as like starting to find happiness in me first.
That's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that
Thank
with me.
you.
I really appreciate it. It was so lovely meeting you.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best. I can't wait to listen to your EP.
Me too.